Wait,
I know, thanks.
It's really
this
nice.
Very,
these look really nice pillows.
And these candles, I mean.
So romantic. I want you to fade to black.
Just
like fade in, and then fade to black. And then fade in, and then fade to black. I want top billing.
Yeah, it's Shiri Majandra. Let me just tell you how this goes. It's Shiri Majandra.
Thank you so much.
How about it's Shiri and introducing Majandra? You know, like
it's starring Shiri Appleby.
Well, we had the first season, and it was like
we didn't know if we were gonna get picked up.
Yeah, so that was exciting.
Right.
To come back.
And then we got picked up for 13.
Oh yeah, and the WB decided that they kind of wanted to like retool the show and make it a little more ass-kicking, like Buffy orientated.
Right. But I thought that was at the end of first season.
That was like the what to look forward to in the next season. We're gonna go more, and like all of a sudden our wardrobe was like insane. Like Katie was in like full leather pants and bustier, and like I had like the mini skirts. You know what I mean? And everyone just looked so like
we were dolled up. I think with me they were trying to make me look a little bit sexier. Not like overtly sexy, but just like she had matured a little bit, so my hair was bigger, a little bit more makeup on. The shirts were just like showing a little more skin, but they still kept me pretty pure. Really innocent.
It was like the typical thing, you know, 1 minute you're 15 and you're, you know,
and the
girl,
next minute
you don't
you're
know
16.
yet that you're like sexual or sexually appealing in any way, and then you're 16 and you're kind of like flirting with the idea.
More. Right. So that was my well, that was not mine, but that was Liz's transformation.
Yeah. You're like, I've always been dead sexy.
I'm always the hottest girl on set. I don't know.
It's just like a given.
What was your transformation?
My transformation is always like
to like underwear.
No, and then like these big baggy pants that were like raver pants, and like the short crazy hair to like these like extensions and like the short skirt and like boots, and it was painful. I realized what it was like to be
at the beginning,
not hot, but in hot people's clothing. And it wasn't fun.
You know, it's so funny that we like put on all these clothes at the beginning of the season. You think it's really fun, and then come November, you're like in these short little skirts in the desert.
And like freezing. I remember we did this Viva Las Vegas, and I was in this like, you know, I mean, I was still like letting, you know, being like Maria and going full out and overdone, and you know, just something I wouldn't normally be doing myself. And I had my hair in this like flip thing with these like big curls, red lipstick, and this outfit. And Appleby sits across from me and she goes, Delf, you know, you really go for it, don't you? I'm like, she's like, you really, I like that, you know, you still get in the outfit and you just still do the hair and you just go for it.
Majandra just walks on set. She's got like her book, her like really dark book that she's reading.
Like God knows what.
And she's just like on set, like working. I'm just like, what, all the time. You're okay with it all the time. We went to Hollywood Park to shoot that.
That was Vegas.
Mm-hmm. Please welcome to the stage Miss Margarita Salt.
You kind of, you know, need something to do for the characters. So whatever, if they can like, if they're double jointed, you're like, let's make an episode about it, you know? And it was either like, you know, she dances ballet or she sings. Singing is cooler with the kids. Let's do a singing thing, you know? So at first it was like, all right, I'll sing. But then it kind of became a problem because I actually have like a singing thing in real life. And it was really like confusing people. Like they'd buy my CDs hoping to hear like Roswell songs. We start getting really annoyed with who, you know, with our love interest stories. It starts getting boring for us, like kissing the same actor or whatever. So we decide together as like a unit that we want to tell Jason what he should write. And we tell him that he should do like a cousin thing, you know? And he did it. Mm-hmm. He had my cousin come on. The thing is, he didn't follow through because you were supposed to have your cousin come on for me.
Right.
That never worked out. I'd complain that, like, Michael was so mean to her, you know, and she'd, like, take it. It's such a bad influence. He was so he was disabled, that poor Michael.
Why couldn't these poor aliens treat us well?
I know,
they just really were little buggers.
They really, yeah.
That's why I said to Jason Katims, I'm like, you have to give Liz like a different guy or have her do something on her own. Because this is crazy that these poor girls are like chasing these guys and are not treating them well, like all around. Like these, and I said to them, like, you haven't created dumb characters. Like both these characters are like really independent. Like Liz is really into like science and Maria's really into music and like being artistic, and like we didn't create weak characters. So that was my only issue really, was that like
and you feel bad like having an issue at all because it's like it's their story and this and that, but there's times where you have to kind of take responsibility for what you're putting out there and what young girls are taking from it, and especially if you know, both Appleby and I would you know, like read our fan mail and, you know, like understand what the reaction was. And if you see that it might be influencing someone in the wrong way, you kind of want to do something about it.
Yeah, it's a lot of the times people would say like, oh, you know, you want to see Liz happy. It's like this poor girl is like running around crying all the time. Human beings, we change and grow and go all over the place, and I think it's important to play characters that resemble that as well. It wasn't like complaining, it was just like, here's our input about what might work better since we're paying attention to these characters in this situation. They were definitely responsive, and
very
obviously,
much,
like the two of us are saying, like they listened to us and they, you know, gave those characters those opportunities.
And then eventually I got Clayne Crawford.
And Brody.
With, like, hot music. Yeah, Brody, that was weird.
Yes.
I was like a 16-year-old, like, going to visit this, you know, 30-something-year-old man with a child who owned a UFO museum. When they had the Courtney character, like, you know, seduce Michael was terrible. I was like, Michael, you know, because, like, he gave into it and he did, like, fool around with her or whatever. And it was the same kind of feeling, like, when Tess came on and the Max and Tess thing, it was that same kind of thing of, like, no, you know.
I swear, because I never knew that she was coming. We were at a press conference.
Yeah.
And the producers told all the press that they were bringing another girl onto the show. And I was
we're like
sitting there like,
oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt anything.
And, like, not only, like, just a guest star, but, like, there's going to be another lead, you know, on the show. And you're like, huh?
I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. Okay. You know, and you're just going along with it. And then as soon as she comes on, Emily's a really, you know, really sweet girl. It was just the idea that, like, this relationship was sort of, like, being tampered with.
It's weird. It feels, like, real, and you get very protective over your character.
I like, still have, like, issues with it now. It's
yeah,
like
I
hearing
still
about
have
an
issues with
ex-boyfriend,
it,
like,
too.
cheating on you.
That's how it feels to me, too. I'm like... That whole killing Alex thing was so... That whole thing was so disturbing. We really thought he was, like, dead. Remember he'd come on the set and we'd be like, Colin! Oh, my God. You know, it was such a bummer.
He was such a good guy to have on set, and he was, like, a
so
friend.
So much fun.
And then the idea that you just... the show was, like, going to such a degree that, was, you know, it's changing.
It's like we're not just getting rid of him, but, like, we got to make him dead. And, like, in a weird way.
The writers, it's like they have so much that is of concern, and because it started becoming science fiction, it was more for them. It seems like they were just coming up with like plot points or like trying to come up with this whole theology and how all of this stuff was going to make sense. They were trying to create an entire world.
Yeah, it was a network thing, you know. It was a network
Because I think they were having a lot of success with Buffy and Angel and those kinds of shows that I think they were trying to make Roswell into that same sort of
That's more
success. I mean, I'm not personally a science fiction fan, but like luckily my character sort of was like, I think we should do this.
Yeah,
and
that was
it works
great.
out
Yeah.
every single time. So it was kind of fun to be the person that like had the answers to everything. But I am definitely I'm more in favor looking back on the episodes that have to do with the love story. I liked that episode because I thought it was just really romantic, and that episode reminded me of like why I fell in love with the show to begin with, like why the pilot gets to you, and I thought that episode sort of was back on that path again.
You're the love of my life. Everyone else is gonna be second best. There'll never be another you.
Didn't he look like Tom Cruise in Magnolia?
Totally.
I think he kind of liked the idea of playing another character. And I also like that episode 'cause it's just not so, there's just not so much like technical, like mumbo jumbo. You really like got into the characters.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see that like Nick's character was involved and he was like really, you know, they were being playful and giving towards each other, and you didn't see those two characters interact like that, I think, ever up to that point, or much so afterwards either.
He's hilarious,
hysterical.
but he just talks about anything, and it's funny.
Yeah, he's a lot about like telling sex jokes.
It's all about like how uncomfortable, you know, the situation could be. Nick is pro.
He's very funny, but he's a really big music buff, and I remember he would always ask the camera department, they have this like air squirter to clean out the camera. So he always wanted to take him home so he could blow his CDs after he'd play them, and like blow his CD player to make sure that like all the dust would get. He's like a music fanatic. God, I feel like we're talking about a different world. Can you imagine we started that show 5 years ago? And we met like 6 years ago.
I know, it's crazy.
You know, like it's wonderful that we're sitting here and talking about it, like we're still talking about it.
But it's like a testament to how entertaining the show was for people. Like people still stop us and ask us about the show.
Well, at least for me, and I feel like for you too, maybe it was like the first, like it was like my first bigger thing.
Yeah,
and so it's like
debut.
You know, yeah, it really was. So if you're looking at like a timeline, it's like all the way at the beginning. So the idea that like wherever I am, you sort of still go back to that.
Yeah.
And that we're still sitting here and talking about it, it just sort of blows me away.